Welcome to the iNation News Brief. I'm Keith Pitts. U.S. ponders testing three-person fertilization technique on humans. The article reads, federal health regulators have been arguing the pros and cons of a controversial new fertilization method that would see babies created from the DNA of three people in an attempt to avoid possible genetic diseases. A two-day hearing on the issue initiated by the Food and Drug Administration, also called the FDA, has been prompted by a successful testing of the technique on animals at the Oregon Health and Science University in Portland. Groups of researchers headed by Dr. Shukrat Mitalipov used the method of DNA replacement to produce 5 healthy monkeys. Now, the scientists say they are ready to test it on an initial sample of women at risk of passing on with genetic health conditions to their children, including blindness, diabetes, heart failure, and epilepsy. We want to replace these mutated genes, which by nature have become pathogenic to humans, said Dr. Mitalipov, AP reported. We're reversing them back to normal, so I don't understand why you would be opposing that. So your kids aren't good enough, they need to reverse your kids back to normal, or should I say, their personal normal. The opposition to the experiment has been strong, however. Critics argue that genetically modified embryos are unethical as they could be a step toward designer babies, meaning some parents would be willing to not just get rid of the defective trait, but customize their child's appearance or intelligence, which actually has already been done in history. It's called eugenics, and you can take a look at that. You can look that up. At this stage, however, the FDA panel is examining technical rather than ethical issues regarding the procedure. So they're going to do away with the ethical issues right now. They're just going to take a look at the technical issues. And a number of experts argued that there's still not enough evidence on the safety of the so-called three-person fertilization technique. The end of the experiment will come decades later, said Michigan State University's Keith Latham. It's going to take us that long to figure out the health of the progeny produced by these procedures. The technique tested by Mitalipov presupposes taking a healthy female donor egg and replacing it with nucleus DNA, or what is known as deoxyribonucleic acid, with that of the baby's mother, thus leaving behind her unhealthy mitochondrial DNA. The researcher argues it is only gene correction, not gene modification, since all of the major traits of the baby are in the nucleus, which stays intact. And if they venture on gene correction, they will later get to the point of gene modification. And as this report shows, that they said that it's already been tried on animals and that they're ready to try it on women. If they're ready to try it on women, chances are there's been a pilot program where they've already tried it on women. So let me read the end here. So far, the first day of the FDA hearing shows that the U.S. scientific community is still wary about testing the procedure on humans. So once again, they've probably already started a pilot program of testing this on women. And the problem with this is, as I said, this is eugenics. This is revived eugenics, just brought in a different form, because we've seen this in history where we've had selective gene pooling, and if you don't have the proper traits that they want, your nose is too big, your hair is not to their liking, your bone structure, if you're not athletic, well, then you're out. And what they'll do is have a selective gene pool of the progeny they want for the future. So I'm Keith Pitts with the iNation News Brief. I'll see you next time.